Welcome, my people, to another episode of Exclusive Visions podcast, Love, Life and Business, where we discuss real life and business issues that matter. Now, today we got some real special guests, but before we get into them, please subscribe to the channel, press that notification bell, click the thumbs up, and leave a message, people, because I love actually reading them. And if you haven't seen the Patreon page, please subscribe and book a package. So therefore, if you like what we're doing, it entitles me to keep feeding Stretch and ensure that George can look after his wife. So make sure you buy a Patreon package. Now, our guests today, these people are bad boys in blue. Nah, they're good people, actually. They are absolutely lovely, wonderful people. And I'm so happy to have them on the show because you know how we do it on the podcast. We like to hear the other side of the story. We always hear the side of the hunter, but never the side of the lion. So to get the full picture, we need to hear both sides. So today is all about behind the badge. And we got some wonderful people from the Met. That's correct, right? Yeah, just making sure. I don't want to get arrested, people. You know, I'm on best behavior today. I'm not a bad boy today. I'm a good boy. We've got some wonderful people from the Met who are going to be talking about the police force, what's going on, how we as a community can be more engaged and work together. So I'm going to get them to introduce themselves one by one, and we're going to delve deep into this episode today. So go ahead. Who would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Joy, and I'm a police constable in the Met.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Emily. I'm also a police constable. I've been in the Met for 7 years.
They're so polite, innit? For now, yeah.
I'm Trevor Struthers. I'm a detective inspector in the Met, and I've been in the Met for 21 years now.
21 years. I like the way he just stresses it out. I put in my time. That is absolutely wonderful. So we're going to get straight into this, and I'm just going to literally just do round robin, ask questions. Whoever wants to answer it is absolutely fine. So Emily, I'm going to start off with you. I just there sitting in the middle. Remember, come close to the mic because we really want to pick up your voice. So why did you join the Met in the first place?
That's a really good question.
You kind of look like a teacher or something. You click on that.
I get that a lot. I get you don't like a police officer. Yeah, I don't. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Yeah, I was never supposed to be a police officer. I studied at Durham University and I wanted to be a lawyer, which my parents are very happy with. And then I wanted to sort of work in criminal law and be a barrister. And I thought, I'm going to have to work with police officers. I don't know much about the police. So I volunteered with Durham Constabulary up in Durham when I was studying, and I went out on night shifts. I went to my first murder scene with Durham Constabulary. It was really awesome. And
sorry, the way you just threw that in like say it was normal.
Just,
you went to a murder scene.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed in.
Okay. It sounded random. Like, it's like okay.
All that kind of exposure was great. And but more importantly, I worked with the domestic violence and the child abuse detectives and teams up there, which was amazing. And I kind of saw the sort of other side and the side where these individuals were sort of helping people at the kind of worst time in their lives. And it just felt like, for me, a better kind of choice of career, really. And so I left uni and came down to London and thought I'll apply for the Met. And then that was it, kind of thrown into uniform, and there we go.
Wow, it sounds like the murder scene did it for you.
I work in the homicide unit, so that's...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it literally did.
Oh, wow. Okay, Trevor, what about you? You've been here for 21 years. What got you into it, and what has kept you here for so long?
I can't honestly lie and say I've always wanted to be a police officer. It was just one of those things where I've literally left school, went to college. Studying wasn't really my bag. Grew up in East London, so I just sort of fell in with just a nice crew, do what you're doing, you're partying, you're doing everything. I was working at the post office during that time. And you got to about 25 and you're thinking, what am I actually going to do with myself?
The post office wasn't rocking it for you.
No, it wasn't. I couldn't
pick up the ladies. I work in a post office.
I just couldn't see myself finishing my working career there. So I was looking for something different. And on the train going into work, saw the advert for the police and applied for it.
So this was 21 years ago.
So I've got to say I've enjoyed my career. In policing, I've sort of done everything. I was in uniform for about 3 years, went into a CID
Explain that to me.
Went into sort of criminal investigations and worked on...
Is that like the people you see in the bill?
In uniform, yeah, on the
okay,
response teams. And that is more of a teamwork, and that's...
Okay.
You're just going from call to call, and you're sort of... How can I say it? You're just holding the crime scenes till the detectives sort of come on and take over. So after three years, it started getting a bit of the same thing, just sort of going from call to call. So I went into the CID department, worked in crime squads, and that's dealing with burglaries, robberies, street robberies. Then went into the main office. Got into about 5 years into my service, thought I'll start going up the ranks, I'll try and do my sergeant's exams. We're quite successful with that. Then I moved over to Brixton, South London, worked the Streatham end of the ground.
I'm so sorry. South London. Yeah. Nothing good ever comes out of South. Because Joy, I had a big gasp over there. Yeah, you can talk in a second.
Yeah, and that was really good. That was really busy. Worked with a really great superintendent, chief inspectors over there, and they've asked me. That was around the time Safer Neighbourhoods teams were being set up, and they asked me to set up one of the first Safer Neighbourhood teams on the borough. So that was a good time. Moved over from there. I went sort of back into CID. I moved into our DPS, our professional standards, sort of internal investigations department. Worked there for a number of years and sort of came back out and went into CID and been here ever since. So
fantastic. So Emily and Joy, you can blatantly see the career path that you can go with. So he has blazed the trail for you guys.
Exactly.
So Joy, you want to introduce yourself? Even though I said your name about 10 times already.
Yeah, it's Joy. I've been in a job for about 15 years now, and I started off, I actually worked in the College of Occupational Therapists as an administrator. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to show my age now, but I got that through the YTS scheme. Remember the YTS?
No.
Oh, wow.
What's that, like apprenticeship kind of thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. Let's jazz it up to apprenticeship. It sounds so much better. And I got that, so I started working when I was 17, worked there, and then I had children. And left and looked after the kids, and then kids grew up. And I thought, you know what? I've always wanted to make a difference, and I'd always looked at policing and thought, but you know what we said earlier, I never thought I'd be able to get in there for various reasons. And I there was an advert that came on the radio about being a voluntary police officer. And I was like, oh, you know what, it's not bad. You know, you work a certain amount of hours. I think it was 8 hours a month. And I thought, you know what, let me give it a try. Let me see what it's like. You know, kids were at school, blah, blah, blah. So I started that, really enjoyed it. And the people I worked with were saying to me, why don't you just join as a regular? I remember laughing at them and being like, well, how can I join? I've got kids. Like, do you know what I mean? And they were like, no, you can join. So I did. I joined after being a special, went to Hendon. And graduated, and that was it. But yeah, I'd always just wanted to make a difference, and I thought, yeah, this is for me. I got through, and here I am today.
How long have you been in the police force for?
About 15 years now.
And yourself, Emily?
7.
Oh, okay, you're still a baby.
I'm a baby girl.
Yeah. Compared to everyone else.
I don't look like it.
Yeah. All right, so I want to delve in more about the Behind the Badge initiative, which is happening. But before we get into that, right, there's something that I wanted to literally touch on first, because being on this show, I like to talk about real issues, as I said before. So the commander, Alison, and please correct me if I butcher her name, Hadari, who is the highest ranking black police officer in the Met, set up the behind the badge initiative. And this was done as a way of building trust, confidence, and legitimacy even in the Met. Now, I'm going to tie in the race report within this question right now, and I want to hear it from all of you as well. So to me, the race report was a lot of nonsense. I didn't like the way that it was done. I love the idea behind it. I thought the race report as an initiative was good, but how it was executed was poor. My number one question is very simple, and Emily, I would actually to start with this. Institutionalized racism, okay? how is this really being dealt with within the Met? And did the race report actually make it worse, or did it actually highlight key issues that's happening?
I think that's an interesting question, and it's something that we weren't involved in the race report, and obviously the commission has spoken about institutionalized racism, and this is something that's been bandied around for years. I wouldn't want to work in a racist organisation, and I think that we can all agree on that. I think that it's something that we are still dealing with, just like we are in society. We can't pretend that everyone's perfect, and 100%. We can't pretend that it doesn't exist. And it's something that we are working tirelessly on, which is why we're involved in the Deputy Commissioner's Delivery Group. So we are, off the back of the Mayor's action plan, we are working on lots of initiatives to really support and champion predominantly Black officers, but not exclusively, within the Met, and supporting sort of mentoring schemes and coaching schemes, and really looking at how we work with our communities and our Londoners to really improve the service that we give, and also our diversity, which we know is not as it should be. We know we have lots of groups that are very underrepresented at all ranks as well, and it's something that we are really working on. And it's a work in progress, and it will be for a while. It's not something we can change overnight, sadly. And you've seen press reports, etc., about sort of officers, and there will be some bad apples, and it's important to recognise that. But the majority of officers that you see out there are doing a really good job and put their lives on the line day after day, and want the Met and London to be, the Met especially, to be a represented place, and to kind of work towards those aims. So I think everyone is in sort of agreement over that. So yeah, it's
Okay, I like that. That was very well said. So Trevor, you've been in the Met for 21 years, and you've seen things from when you first started to now. How would you say that being a Black officer has been for you during this 21 years?
Okay, I came in at the time of the Macpherson report. So that was the time I joined. So I came in when diversity was a massive issue for the police, and when they started to really try and get a grip of it. It has improved, but the statistics are telling us we're not attracting enough Black officers to join the organisation. How can we do that? And it is coming on programs like this and reaching out and showing people that we are actually normal people. It is a good occupation to get into, and the only way you're really going to change things is actually coming in and working in the organisation, because you walk into the room and there isn't any diversity at fault when you're the only Black inspector out of a cohort of 30 or 40, so you actually need people to come in and sort of start changing the organisation, start changing how they think. Going back into the terms of the race report and institutional racism, like Emily said, there is racism in every organisation, but 100%. I've got to be honest with the Met is one organisation that is actively trying to tackle it. May not always do the right thing, but they are actually actively trying to tackle it. And since the death of George Floyd, they sort of picked it up again and saying, no, we actually need to address our recruitment strategy and how we're going to actually reach out to a diverse London, because you look at London and we don't represent London. And I think most officers are actually saying, how can I actually help in attracting the areas that we police, for them to actually want to join the police? What are we actually doing wrong?
And I think you said something so interesting there, that you have to be, if you want to see the change, you've got to be part of it.
Yeah. So
kicking on with some lovely statistics. Joy, I know me and you've had some conversations about statistics already, and I would like you to really hone in on this. So how many officers are there actually within London or in the UK, and how many of them are actually Black or from the African Caribbean background?
Okay, within the Met? because the UK, I don't know those statistics.
Okay.
But there's over 32,000 within the Met, and of that 32,000, there's approximately 1,143 black police officers.
So 1,000.
143.
It's actually 1,156.
I'm sorry.
Approximately.
A few people got some jobs in a few weeks. I like that. Okay, 1,156. Sorry, Trevor, I wasn't the wrong person. I'm sorry. Actually, you had the book out.
We've grown.
We've grown. There's more black people now.
Yeah.
So we're making a difference.
We're making progress.
So out of 32,000, there's 1,156.
Okay, and that's not taking in Asian officers. That's just
staff
as well, or police. Yeah.
So I don't believe that's enough to really make a difference or make a dent. I think it's a start, and that for me is. Yeah, to me it sounds poor, really, and I'm not gonna lie. It does sound. It's like you can't ask for change if you're not gonna be about that change as well. So, but I'm gonna throw in another question right now. So, we know, okay, especially in the black community, when I grew up in Hackney, being a police officer, it was like a no career. How are you changing that dynamics right now? Because when I think of police officer, I'm just thinking about that guy in the uniform walking on the streets, but. Obviously, like Emily, you told me that you've done some great stuff already. So what type of other roles are there within being a police officer?
I mean, the roles are so vast. I mean, you can work in dogs, the river units, mounted branch.
River units, you're
on the Thames, on the boats.
Driving the boats, right?
Yeah, on the Thames, and those guys are doing all their diving stuff.
Well, they actually go into the water.
Yeah, they do the
that all look dirty though. Like that. but continue anyway.
And then you look at the civilian side of it. You've got your forensic side. You've got all the intel sides, the analyst side. Whatever you can think of, we do it in the police. You do your sneaky beaking.
So what's America?
The firearms. Yeah.
It goes over here as well.
No. I mean, your imagination runs away with you. What you can do. People do. Fitting bugs into people's houses and sort of all Gucci jobs like that. Sitting down listening to intercept tapes. It's just a vast array of things that you can do.
So how are you changing the minds? Because to me personally, I think it's, Emily, something you said earlier, and I think it's more to do with education more than anything else. Because I honestly believe you can educate yourself out of any situation. So how is the Met? And I do believe the community as well has some responsibility in really helping this issue as well. So how is the Met really changing the mindset of the people in the community from the African and Caribbean diaspora?
It's a challenge, isn't it? It's about getting out there, I suppose, and it's about that's sort of where Behind the Badge came from, I think, really, because it's about saying that we are normal people and we do want to interact and engage with our communities and speak to our communities and know what's important to them as much as anything else, and for them to realise that there could be a career. It's like our schools officers going to schools, and I think our TSG have recently been out with some young kids, playing football with them and being like, we're normal people, come, talk to us, sort of tell us, ask us what it's about. And I think it's that kind of level of engagement is really important because, that kind of contact with the police officer, you might not have contact with the police officer otherwise, or it might be a negative experience. So having that positive experience to sort of say, a career in the Met is an interesting one.
And at the moment, our these are our sort of volunteer cadets who are from, I think we start from 10 to 18, it goes up to. And we've got a predominantly, I think it's virtually a 50-50 split with black and Asian cadets and white cadets.
All right, let's say the cadets, because I love cadets, myself. So what does a young person get from being a cadet? Let's start there.
So they go out and learn life skills. They do the Duke of Edinburgh, go off camping, orienteering, teamwork. It's just sort of building up your life skills. And they meet once or twice a week and they sort of help out with policing events like Fates, just sort of low-level policing events. They wear a uniform, just learn a bit of discipline in marching, how to ball your shoes. It is a good thing.
And how does a young person become a cadet?
They can just apply at their local police station. So each borough's got one. So each of the 32 boroughs have got a cadet unit.
Is this something that could be done online? Do you have to?
Yeah, you can look it up online. I think the youngest they take is 10, and you've got to leave at 18. And now we are looking at trying to get those recruits, especially from a Black and Asian background, to consider a career in the police at 18.
I love that. I'm not gonna lie. I knew about the army cadets, but I didn't know about the police cadets as well. See, you learn something every day, and I think that's very, very important. Like things like this, start young, start from the grassroots, and I'm definitely gonna be pushing this. Now I know, and I think this is something which I like. When I'm speaking to young people, I'm letting them know about this as well. But I think this is a great segue now to really talk about the Behind the Badge initiative. And I really want to delve into why this was created and then what is the vision for it. So, Emily, kick me off with that.
Oh, gosh. Well, it's Joyce and all the hard work. I don't know. Joyce, you want to answer that?
Yeah. So as you said, Behind the Badge was an initiative brought from Mam Hadari, who's the most senior Black officer in the Met. And she used to work in Hampshire. And they'd started it there as a way of speaking with the local communities there. When she came to the Met, she thought it's actually a good tool looking at London and the way that we communicated and we're engaging with the community. That was actually a good tool to engage and to find out where our underrepresented groups are in the community. So it was a different way of media of reaching our communities, because before then we've kind of gone to the same places, same faces all the time, whereas this was an opportunity for us to not only reach our communities and find where they were, but also for us as police officers to show our human side, that we're actually real people with real emotions, real feelings. And
we do forget the police are actually human, innit?
Yeah, because, and to be fair, people see the uniform. And I was thinking about this the other day of something I dealt with, when I was pretty new. And, often you will go to cases where, you're taking children away from their parents. And they're seeing that uniform. That's all they say as kids. But even though you're safeguarding them, they are looking at you're pulling them away. You're destroying this home, and more often than not, those kids, might go through care and the system and everything else. So you always are the enemy almost, and so you just have this vision of the uniform kind of being something really negative. And so being able to sort of come and talk without that uniform and showing that you are human, this is who you are, I think helps people to be able to relate to you and show that actually you could do the job. You could do the same job as me because you're the same person as me. Do you know what I mean? I grew up in South East London. Just awesome. Throw that in there. But it is a job that people can do, and I think being able to come into our communities and reach people like this is really effective. And you can be yourselves. You can keep it real. And I know with our community especially, we want to have real conversations. You want to just hear realness. Do you know what I mean? And being able to be honest. And to be fair, I think it's been good for our officers as well to have the experience, because some people haven't done it. They haven't done that kind of engagement. And it's a way that we are able to engage, that we can engage with our communities. It doesn't have to be all this hostile, that we can actually speak to our community and engage. So, and the Behind the Badge, where it's going from now, we hope to be able to continue to do this forever. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's got sort of a little stop, right, we'll do this for a few and then on to the next. No, like I said, it's a tool of engagement. It's a way to engage. And we've got like a little hashtag I was talking to someone about, and it's called Be the Change You Want to See. And this is the kind of ethos and method that we're bringing through Behind the Badge. This is what we want. We want people to come join us. Do you know, we want to be able to communicate and engage with people. So.
Okay. No, I love that, and I do appreciate everything you're saying. But as Emily was saying earlier, there is it's challenging, and then there is like this big divide and disconnect between the police right now and the community, especially from the African and Caribbean. I'm not going to speak to all the other communities, but I know that disconnect, and just talking to you guys is, again, it's maybe a culture thing. It could be a lack of respect and trust thing. So how are we really bridging that? So behind the badge, I can see that's doing some things to remedy that situation, but what other things are actually still being done to really start changing, bridging that gap between the police force? So when I see a policeman on the road, I'm not thinking, oh my God, is he gonna arrest me? But I can actually walk up to him and say, hey, how you doing, good afternoon, or just say hello. So what else? Because I feel, just to like really land this, I honestly feel that when I see a police person on the road, it could be a man or woman, right? I'd rather just walk past them without saying anything.
Yeah.
But I feel if they're there to supposed to be serve and protect and stuff, and they're there for my safety as well, I should be able to say hello and feel happy to do so.
Yeah, definitely.
So how can we start bringing more humoristic qualities and sides out of the police force as well to start bridging that gap? So I'm going to throw it to you first, Trevor.
Okay. It's that's a difficult question, and it's just not the black community. That's working class white community, and in white communities we have that problem of really having proper community engagement. I mean, now the Met looking at that in depth. We're now working on what we call the Deputy Commissioner Delivery Group, and we're looking at how we're actually engaging with our communities. You know, we need to actually just set up what we call wall panels or engagement panels where members of the community will come in and speak to us, but are they actually the right people who we're engaging with? Are they the people who have got influence in the community? So we're actually looking at ways of how we're engaging with people, be it online, either then coming direct to us. And it is really breaking it down and actually saying, what do you want from us? You know, we're actually listening to you. You know, one of the biggest contentious issues in the black community is stop and search, you know, and that is one of the barriers that we've got to explain ourselves and say why we're continually doing it when 70% of the stops doesn't yield anything. We're only hitting a 30%.
You brought it up. I wasn't even going to go there, but you did. Yeah, it's your fault. Yeah, Joy, see, this is not my fault. Joy's looking at you thinking, what have you done? Yeah. All right, you went there. No, before you go there, I got to ask that question. Why is the stop and search predominantly aimed at those from minority backgrounds?
Okay, and I'll be as blunt. Is that
I love it. This is the right show to do that.
It is the type of crimes and the type of injuries that are being sustained by young black men. You know, they are the ones who are getting shot and stabbed, and we only see the ones that die. Well, you know, and that's quite a bit. There are a lot who survive who don't make the news. So our intelligence are telling us if you're young black, you're likely to be one victim of crime, of knife crime.
George Hughes, that's irritating. Yeah. So continue.
One a victim of knife crime or gun crime, and two a perpetrator of it. So that is generally the reason why there is a disproportionality in stop and search. You know, be it right or wrong, that is just a cold, hard reality of it.
Okay, so is there anything that I don't want to stay too long on this because there's so many things talking about it. Is there something actually really being done about it to really look at stop and search?
Yes, I mean we are looking at it and how we can improve it, how we can explain it. You know, I mean Joy would go on to talk about things like the ride along scheme that we're trying to get.
I'm going to do that.
Trying to get people to come out and actually see the realities of it, because I mean the police officers who are out in the street in uniform, they're the ones who see it. They're the ones who are administering first aid to these kids and keeping them alive. So, you know, it is a double-edged sword. We actually need it, but I know it is a massive contentious issue that causes us a lot of grief in the black community.
All right. No, thank you. And I said that's very well explained. And yeah, Emily, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I was going to mention the ride-alongs, and then you said, but the ride-alongs are a great opportunity to sort of, you know, if you don't want to become a police officer, come out and see what it's about. You know, meet some of the police officers, see what they're facing day to day. You know, you get the real life. This is what it's like, and you don't often get that. You know, the police is like one of the most sort of dramatized like professions, but it's not like, you know, Miss Marple or whatever. You know, the kind of reality.
Or CSI.
No, there's a lot more paperwork. But you know, you come and sort of see what it's about, and you know, you get a little bit of a snapshot. The BBC were filming with us on the Met series. You might have seen that. So there's a little bit of a snapshot, but actually come out on a shift, and that's what we're sort of offering, obviously COVID pending. And yeah, hopefully you can come out with.
So any civilian can come onto a ride-along. So how does someone book that?
I think you can get in touch with your local station, a bit like with the cadets. You can.
It's online as well now.
It's online now as well. So
we'll forward you the link. I think there was a link that got emailed today. So.
Okay, forward me the link so I could then put that out onto the show as well, so people can actually do a ride along. Because I told Joy, but I wanted to do that. I want to go to the baddest areas in London and speak to some of the guys there. And I'm going to be doing this. I'm looking forward to doing the ride alongs. But yeah, I want to stay on more on the behind the badge and what's actually happening. And I was telling Joy the other day, I put out these questions saying, yeah, guys, I'm interviewing the Met Police. What questions do you have for me? And I honestly felt that I was going to get, ask about stop and search. But none of that came back, actually. And there was a good one that actually came forward. One of the key things that a lot of people were echoing with this question was how we could actually make a community and include the police as well. And I thought, this is quite interesting. I'm not expecting this. And a initiative came out in regards to, Joy, as you saying earlier, playing football and speaking to the young boys who may be on a peripheral of gang culture or maybe in gang culture, and trying using the police to bridge that gap between the different areas, a whole postcode thing, and creating like a league. Where you're getting young boys from different areas playing football against each other, and the police holding that forum and keeping it safe. Is something like that even possible?
Well, we've got something similar actually called Kick Off for Free.
Oh, see, I didn't know about it. It's important to talk.
Yeah. So Kick Off for Free is run by one of our police officers and a bus driver. And they came together to do this league. It's all around. I believe it's all around the country that they do it. But it's very it's brilliant. Really, really good. So it's an initiative, like you're saying, football, police, the youth, and just being on a plain level, just being able to do that, just being able to engage again. Do you know what I mean? And see police officers being normal people, and also be encouraging the youth to just because it's football, it's fun. Do you know what I mean? And you just being able to chat and build relationships, which I know they've done. So I can forward you the link as well for that.
Definitely.
Kick Off for Free.
I would love to see things like that. And Trevor, I'm going to ask you, because that 21 years is just sticking out for me. What great initiatives have you seen that say happened 10, 15 years ago that you saw making a difference, but is not happening right now, but you think the Met should be bringing back?
The one that was really positive with the Trident MIT teams. Sorry, Emily. The Trident murder teams.
Okay.
And they had a real engagement with the black community. Was really well established. Didn't really wear suits, sort of really got in with the community, had their own reference groups, so they had inners into the black community, and that was a really good initiative. That was when we had Mike Fuller running it. This is going back a few years now, and there was a big drop in murders within the black community, but with everything, with austerity, teams get cut, and we merged all our murder teams back into one. So that was a good initiative. I mean, there's been great initiatives, and when you say the community actually do a lot of good work. when I worked in Lambeth, you got real good community links there. You know, at the moment, you've got a lady called Part of the Rain. She works on our community policing board. I think she chairs it, and she does a lot of work with the young kids and the police, bringing them together. The boxing she does. It's a difficult one because what is the police there for? Are we there to prevent crime, detect crime and arrest people and sort of bring them to justice? I believe there's a mixture of it, but I think we can't take on other agencies' roles, you know, and, you know, a lot of people come in there and say, look, I'm a police officer, I actually want to go out and arrest bad people. And we've got to identify what our role is. It is nice to do the community side of stuff, and it is important, and we've got to play our part in it. But I think we've got to also bring the local authorities in, health authorities and everyone else to play their part.
And that's a fair point we just said. Your main aim as police officers is to prevent crime, detect crime, and arrest people and do all those good things and keep people safe. And you're absolutely right. You shouldn't have to be all things to the whole community. But I would say that you do have a part in building a relationship with the community, which is going to help with that whole trust and honesty and building that whole thing. So one of my key things, okay, again, sticking to the theme of the behind the badge, is with the young people, with the cadets happening and with the different types of careers young people can go into, career fairs, do you have that?
We do. Obviously, COVID at the moment, they're not sort of like face to face as much, but we kind of go into schools, and there's been a few bits online at the moment because of COVID. But we like to sort of showcase officers from all kinds of different backgrounds. It's quite exciting as well because school kids love it when there's someone from firearms that comes in and like someone from dogs, because they're always like the glamorous roles. And so there's all kinds of like engagement like that. So I think it'll be online advertised on our website, sort of when we're allowed to sort of be a bit more face to face, which is
so the Met holds like one big career fairs and schools can come and see you, or do you go into?
No, I think it's slightly changing now because there's a national uplift for police officers nationally, and the Met are now having, because we've got the money to recruit.
Wasn't that 20,000 jobs cut just the other day? From the police force?
No, they're not police officers. No, they're...
Maybe me just making stuff up then.
There's a national uplift for police officers at the moment, so we're actively trying to recruit police officers. So the Met now are actively trying to get more Black and Asian officers to join. In the process of setting up a special recruitment team to specifically target Black and Asian officers and underrepresented officers as well, like females, to join the organisation and exactly do what you're doing. You're speaking about and showcasing what is on offer to them.
Oh,
there's a lot going on, isn't there? There's like the outreach leads as well that have been employed specifically to reach out into the community. So they're police staff who work for us, but their specific role is around recruitment, engagement. Do you know what I mean? They go to churches, wherever. Do you know what I mean? Just speaking to people, just that, like you're saying, having that communication, that engagement. And so there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on now. Do you know what I mean? A lot of community work, and just like you were saying, it's like just us being more involved with the community rather than it be this sort of them and us. It's starting to sort of join together in the stuff that we're doing in the Met, and looking and just thinking, actually, maybe we need to do this, maybe we need to have these people here, etc., just so we can start building that communication. So,
all right. So, just thinking about everything what's been said, and I'm very solution orientated, and I don't like when people just talk and it sounds good and it sounds wonderful, because I hold people accountable. Because Joy, I will be calling you in 3 months and say, hey, remember you said this on the show, 33 minutes in, like, hit right here. And one of the things, like, there's a great saying that anything you do for me without me, you do to me. So in a nutshell, if you don't help me be part of the solution, then it ain't a real solution. And I think that's like the government does terribly. I don't think the government involves the people enough to come up with their own solutions. So my thing is, do you have a think tank where you have their police, you have people who have been in crime, people who are actually probably still in crime, all around the table and really thinking about how can we really serve the community together? Is there a think tank like that coming, or have you guys even thought about it?
Yeah, we've got our external reference groups, haven't we? All over. We've got lots in different areas, because obviously within the Met, there's so many different departments, so many different categories. And within that, everyone's kind of got their own external reference groups. And those are people from the community that come in and Trevor touched on it, our wall panels and stuff like that. We are very engaged with the community. Do you know what I mean? We've got our IAGs as well. What's that stand for now?
Independent advisory.
Thank you. Independent advisory groups. All these acronyms. Independent advisory groups. So we've got a lot of people specifically there that are external, that can speak to us and say, listen, this ain't right, that ain't right. You need to fix up there, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, so yeah, we are engaged with external parties.
Okay. This one for me is this question I got, and any one of you can answer this one, right? So if there is someone right now from the community who really wants to join or is considering joining the police force, but the environment, their families, friends, kind of like it's not a good thing, what would you say would be the best way for them to go about doing it?
Come and speak to a police officer first. It is a tough job, and when I told my family, even though they were supportive, you could see the eyebrows were raised, like you're joining what? Okay, you know, they didn't put me off, you know, but you could see they were thinking, okay, what are you doing? I'm not gonna lie. Once you become a police officer, you have to change your lifestyle a little bit. You know, you can't sort of go to the same pubs you were going to where naughtiness was going on. You know, you are taking on that extra responsibility. You know, you're expected to be effectively a role model for the citizens of the UK. If you're gonna say, I'm a police officer and I've been entrusted with the little bit of extra authority that you give the citizens. So in that respect, I think it's more tougher than what your family say, because your family might turn around and think, oh, what are you doing? But once you join, they're going to be quite, you know, most of the family are going to be supportive of you, you know.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it is actually, you have to come into the organisation with your eyes open, because it is a tough job. It is a job where you are going to miss your children's birthday parties. You know, it's that kind of job where you would be doing long hours, especially as a constable, etc., etc.
Oh, you did long? How long? What's long?
You're doing 24-hour shifts.
Sorry, pardon, what?
Not all the time, but yeah,
but that's the brutal reality.
24-hour shifts?
Yeah, that is the brutal.
I've done a 21-hour,
Yeah, I've done about 21, 22, yeah.
So how? You start
exactly.
at what time?
I had like matchsticks. I was like,
wait, you start at what time?
It's usually like demos, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, so like if, you know, where my last operational job, I was working in our rape unit. So if you get a stranger rape and it comes in at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and you've got someone arrested, you're not going home until that person's been arrested and charged, etc. And that will be from the earliest they'll be going home is like 3 o'clock in the morning. So they would have started at 8, 9 o'clock. So that is a cold hard reality of being a detective on a borough.
That's not every day.
Not every day. Yeah, no, not everything.
Just to clarify.
Not every day,
just every again,
those are the sacrifices.
The worst it can be.
Yeah.
All right.
You've got to walk in there with your eyes open. That you're not going to just walk in and you're not just going to get to be an inspector and start bossing people around. You've got to work your way up and learn your trade, kind of thing.
So I don't get a gun straight away.
No.
2 years probation.
What? A gun?
Well, no, just 2 years probation as a police officer. So as soon as you come in, you do 2 years, isn't it? You do 2 years probationary period to become a substantive constable. Do you know what I mean? You have to, so you don't just come in. You've got to do that and do, which makes sense.
But we are forward thinking now. We've got different entry routes, so there's a route where you can come in as a direct entrant detective.
All right. So is there like an age group cut off where you think?
I think it's
57.
57.
Oh, is it? So someone who's like 45 years old.
So this is a good time, and I think that actually.
No, I'm way off that. Stop it. Enjoy trying to hate here. Hey, Trevor, arrest her.
No, I mean, we are actively looking for people now, who've been furloughed, who may have lost their jobs. If you want a second career, consider policing.
Yeah. It's the way to go.
Can you do part-time?
Yeah, I was part-time. I started off part-time, yeah, my kids. That's why I welcome all mums, I did it, started part-time. I've actually only recently, when did I go full-time? Last year.
Stretch, would you be doing part-time?
By the end of this, don't worry, by the end of this.
Just a nah. Don't talk to me.
But just on that, when you were saying about people having family issues and stuff like that, another thing that we have in the Met is like meet and greet thing and a buddy scheme. So this is very new as well, but meet and greet, and we did this the other day, is when like you're applying, you're interested in the job, and if you're black and you want to know what it's like to be black, you can actually speak to black officers and have a conversation about what it's like to be a black officer. What about the hurdles? And I'm actually speaking with a girl who had applied, who did have family issues, and I was able to talk to her about that and talk through it. Do you know what I mean? And just give it. And it's really good just being able to get on the phone with somebody and have that conversation of what it's really like when you're in it. Do you know what I mean? So they can get that perspective, because there are so many myths, I think, that come, especially within our community, because it's not kind of the career of choice that, a lot of family members are jumping up and down saying, yeah, great, you're going to be a police officer. And so I think it's nice to be able to speak to somebody that's in it. You've got that link, that connection, and then we've got the buddy scheme. So when you even do come in, you've again have got somebody that you can continually speak to. So you're not ever on your own, because I think that's the fear for some people coming in. They think, I'm going to be on my own. I'm going to be just one of me and all that. No, you're not. Do you know what I mean? There's how many? 1,150.
Get it right.
But yeah, we have a lot. That's what I'm saying. We've got a lot of new stuff that has been thought about. Whereas we didn't have that before. Do you know what I mean? When we came in, we didn't have that. But now you've got like a buddy system, you've got me, you've got all these things, which is really good, really helps.
And the organisation is in tune to the issues that black officers have when they join. They're in tune to it, where it's like 21 years ago you joined, here you go, crack on. They're sort of in tune to it. And I think the Black Lives Matter protest woke them up to the realities of what it is like to be a black officer. So
yeah, now that's cool. Something just came to my mind here, and George is probably going to kick me after this, right? But I had a moment of genius. So one of the things that I love doing is supporting people and helping people. And just as you said, I actually thinking to myself, I would love to do a campaign of getting 10 black women to join the Met in the next 12 months. Through exclusive visions. So I'm going to actually work with you guys to actually make that happen. So Emily, I'm looking at you because you're looking at me like saying, don't talk to me. So I'm actually going to actually want to make this a pledge from exclusive visions to literally put things out there, put posters out there and create stuff to get 10 black women to join the Met. I think that'd be absolutely amazing thing to do, because as you said, you can't have a change unless you're part of the actual movement and the revolution. So
the change you want to see, definitely.
I was going to say that you just took my whole.
It just rolls off the tongue.
I was saying, you just started. Thank you, Joy, for participating in my duet, which I think is absolutely amazing. So yeah, another thing that I wanted to do. Go, George.
Sticking on the theme of family, do you, as a police, because as you said, you have to change your life and everything, do you have to, if you know someone in the family is doing certain things, do you have to report it, basing it on the example of the lady officer who I think she got fired because of the WhatsApp video that came to her phone, and she didn't know what it was until later?
Okay.
So declaring association?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you join, you know, we want to know if you've got a criminal record, because that doesn't bar you from joining the police force.
Wait, if I got a criminal record, I could join the police force?
If it was committed when you was like a teenager.
They will look at it. That's what I'm saying about the myths. People think, like you said, you know, I've got a family member that did this, so I can't join. There's no point even applying. I did this when I was a kid, no point in applying. That's not true. What it's about is integrity, and you know, Trevor's role even before, but with DPS. But it's about the integrity. So it's about the honesty, because that's what being a police officer is about. So if you come in and then you think to yourself, and especially again, if our community, we don't like to air our washing, our laundry. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to, but if you come in and you say, do you know what, I'm not going to say anything about that, I'm just going to leave it, they won't know. But we're police officers and we'll find out. So then straight away, the application's in the bin because you've then lied on your application. But do you know what? Be honest on your application, because it's something that, again, we're looking at. Do you know what I mean? About that is it a bit harsh, you know, that if you have had a family member, and especially within our community, we've got families that stretch, you know, I know me being African, my family stretch, I've got aunties all over the place that, you know, I'm like, is that my auntie as well? Like, do you know what I mean? All these aunties like appearing. But, you know, you have got extensive family, you know, family groups, family members that half the time you probably won't know what's going on. So it is about the integrity, about being honest and declaring your associations, and then let the rest do the work. Do you know what I mean? But it's about being honesty. It's about who you are as a person. You know, we are fully aware that people do make mistakes. Do you know what I mean? It happens. That doesn't necessarily discredit you from being a police officer. It doesn't mean that you can't be the best police officer you can be because of something that happened 30 odd years ago. Do you know what I mean?
So what are the like things, obviously, if you have like a bad criminal record, that's going to stop you being part of the police force. What other thing that can stop you from being part? Like, is there like any disabilities that can stop you from being a part of the police force? Is there any?
We've got the Disabilities Act, haven't we?
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No disabilities.
Like, but being a police force, like, if you want to be a police officer, and you're actually, that's a good question. So if I'm in a wheelchair, how can I that?
So you do another, because you need to be able to do the fitness test.
Yes. So I thought there must be some kind of bias.
I mean, we've got officers who have been injured and are now in the wheelchairs who have kept their job, but we just have to put them in different roles.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll then be asked to be potentially disguided to do other roles instead of
because you can't effectively, do you know what I mean, if you've been injured, if you've hurt something, even, you know, you've got to chase, you know, we're crime, we're fighting crime, we're dealing with crime. If somebody's you know, we've got suspects on, or somebody's like burgled a house, you know, and I've got to chase them down the street, I need to be able to be fit enough to be able to do that. That's why we have the fitness test, to make sure that people are fit enough to be on the street, etc. But that doesn't discount somebody who's disabled from joining the police as a whole. Do you know? Because there are so many different roles,
avenues,
within the police service.
Yeah, but if I want to join the police force, but I have family members that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing,
you have to declare it.
So
if you know that your family member's got a criminal record in basically continuing that lifestyle, you have to declare it and effectively.
But that's going to stop a lot of people actually joining, though.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, if you know that the expectation will be, if you know that your brother's got a firearm, which could potentially go out and kill someone, the expectation will be you have to deal with that and disclose that. I'm not talking about if your brother's smoking a little bit of weed in his house that you come in and you arrest him. No, that you got to have a little bit of common sense. But yeah, so it is that kind of lifestyle that you're entering. That you know, you are there to protect the public.
Oh God, But I think you naturally, do you know what's funny though? I think when you become a police officer, you naturally move away from it, because people don't want to be associated with you if they're involved in crime and they know you're a police officer anyway. It's kind of a natural, do you know what I mean? I find anyway, because, you know, I had friends that probably weren't doing the best things in the world when I was younger, and you just naturally drift because you go your own ways. I mean, it's a point of getting older anyways. You know, you tend to drift, you make new friends, don't you, and stuff like that. But I think it's a natural process because you no longer are doing those kind of things. Do you know what I mean? And so it's just, I think you just naturally kind of distance yourselves. But it's the association. It's you declaring and saying, you know, yes, I need this person, I need that person. That doesn't necessarily, it's not someone's going to look at you and go, oh, yeah, they must be involved in it too. That's the point that we're trying to make. Do you know what I mean? That it's actually okay. You can still join, you can still apply. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, maybe it is something that they've really always wanted to do, but in the back of their mind, that's what's stopping them from doing it. They think, oh, I want to make a change, I really want to make a difference. Oh, but actually my granddad did this. You know, it shouldn't be a barrier for you. Do you know what I mean? And we recognise that, and that's what we've looked at. Oh, we're looking at our vetting. You know, we're looking into that, seeing if, you know, there's changes that need to be made there. So apply. Do you know what I mean? Apply.
See, yeah, I do like the whole notion of doing it, but I'm just thinking about the environment of some of these people where they grow up in, and if my environment is a low income area, and I know for some people that like selling drugs, just keep it what it is, okay, is a mean for them just to earn a living. I'm gonna to put that down to say in association that I know these people. But I know why they're doing what they're doing.
But when you say know these people, you're talking about your family members. I'm not saying
the friends as well.
No, so we wouldn't expect you to disclose what your friends are doing.
Okay.
It's your immediate family. And
I'll snitch on my family all day. Yeah, that's their problem.
It's your immediate family and people that you're living with.
So, okay, that's fine.
But your friends, the expectation will be once you join, you're gonna have to keep them at arm's length if you know they're doing that kind of.
Okay, that's easier. So
yeah.
You said from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to.
You have like a direct influence over you. You know.
I'm not asking you to become a.
See, Emily, you should have jumped in earlier. So you clarified.
I've lost all the talk.
Yeah, I thought I had to snitch on so many people right now.
No. I'm not asking you to.
You have to go through your whole address book.
We'll do that for you, don't worry.
Yeah. So I can snitch on my family. I don't care about it. Yeah, because that's a them problem, isn't it?
It's like your immediate family and the people that you're living with in the same household.
Oh, yeah. That's it. People see, this is why you ask questions, because I know a lot of people might have been watching this thinking, raw, like, Tyrone. No. All you guys got in prison. But that's fine.
Sorry, if I didn't make myself clear.
So it's just the people, your immediate family, you have to snitch on people. I mean, you might have to put it in association with. No, that's fine.
It's declaring associations. People are going to have influence on you. If you know, if you've still got a relationship with someone, whether that might be boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're involved and you know they're involved, that is something you need to declare. Do you know what I mean? So it's just common sense, really.
Okay. So let everyone know that you're about to become a popo, and if they want to change their ways, this is the best time to do it.
This is the time to do it.
If not, then yes.
Conflict of interest.
But this has been a fantastic episode, and I'm really appreciative of all of your comments. But before we wrap it up, I'm going to ask you a question. Is there one thing you would like to have been asked that hasn't been asked that you'd like to share before we come off? I know, bad boy question, Emily. I know. I see your face like my man professional up in here. So, Emily, I'm going to start with you. Actually, no, I'm going to let you think about it. Trevor, you go ahead.
Okay.
One question.
Is that we need legitimacy in the police, and the only way we're going to get that is to get a representation, and that's why we need more black officers and Asian officers and more women. We need to be more representative and get that chain of thought to become a legitimate force or service, whichever fence you sit on, to serve the public, because ultimately we're here to serve you guys. And if you've got no confidence in us, then it's always going to be an uphill struggle. So we need that representation to be legitimate and to go into the communities that we are actually policing.
Love that. And Exclusive Vision, we're going to do that thing. I'm telling you that. I'm so excited. 12 women, 10 women in 12 months to join the police force. That's a good challenge. I like that. Joy, one question that you would like to have been asked, but you haven't been asked yet in any show, any podcast, that this is your time to drop it, to golden nuggets.
I'd say, how can the community support us as police officers? That's what I especially as black police officers. And the reason why I say that is within our community, a lot of people don't join, not just because of what they see, the representation they see from the police force, but within our own community, it's not deemed as it's like, oh, you're going to join, like you said, going to join the paper. We need to make it more acceptable as a black person to become a police officer. We need to start having a bit of respect, I think, for that, because...
Put some respect on my name.
Respect. So I think that's what I would... And again, you know, hashtag be the change you want to see. If you want to see the change, come and be it, you know? And that's what I would say. I think it would be... This is a time for our community to really, really get behind us, really support your youth. Those of you that are working with the youth, encourage them to join the policing. Do you know what I mean? Let it not be such a negative thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're going to snitch, they're going to do this. No, do you know what? Because we don't want to see any more young boys dying on the street. I don't want to see it anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm sick and tired of it. So it's time that we together as a community start to really make the difference and support. Do you know what I mean? Be there, help us as police officers. Do you know what I mean? To do our job, to do what it's going to take to stop the crime, to stop the violence on the streets.
Love that. Emily, now you got to follow that.
Follow that.
Yeah, I told you to go first.
I shouldn't. I'll go more light-hearted. So what we enjoy, what we look forward to in our careers right now, because it's a tough job, but it's also such a privilege. You know, we have a power. You know, we take our oath. We pledge that oath right at the beginning of our careers, and what a privilege it is to have that warrant card and to serve our communities.
I'm going to throw you under the bus right now. Do you know the oath off by heart?
Probably not.
I
did it.
Yeah.
I'll reel it out.
I think I had a headache that day, so it's really hard.
Trevor, help me know.
I can only remember the first part of it. That was a long time ago.
Sorry, that's my fault.
Allegiance to the Queen.
Impartiality,
integrity.
You guys don't get fired on Monday.
That's
I'm afraid of the bus. I thought, but you did it.
Yeah, we definitely did it. But I think
cool.
that's the biggest thing for me. Like, it is a privilege, and you know, that's what the great thing about Behind Badges, that we're, you know, human beings, people behind all of it, and there are lots of fun things that we get to do as police officers as well, and fun initiatives that we get involved in. We've spoken about a few of them. I'm gonna do a shameless plug for the Met Police Choir.
Oh yeah. She might sing a little tune.
I thought I'd get it. No,
Are we gonna have a tune?
No, she's a choir.
Get it on the end.
Hey, this is he's a producer, you know.
Police song.
Yeah, police song.
But, you know, and that's another way we're getting to our communities. You know, it's not what you would think, but we support lots of charities across London. We go and sing for our communities, and that's a really good way of getting out there and showing that we're human beings and being ambassadors as well. So it is a serious job, but there are fun elements in as well. So,
I love that. Wow. Who would have thought the Met has a choir? Wow.
All right. Big choir as well. There's loads of them.
Yeah. We're retired officers, special constables. We're all kind of one big happy family. Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's good.
All right. So any upcoming events people should know about?
Good question. Because it's been COVID.
Yeah.
But we've got the ride along.
I'm doing that one. Doing that one.
Definitely the
Me
ride
and you,
along.
Joy.
There's also a walk along.
No, I like that. That's long.
Come on, walk along.
No. Oh, you got the boats as well?
A boat along. Okay, we'll put that. We'll make that suggestion.
Yeah, boat along and
boat
ride along. Who the hell's walking? I ride a bike. Yeah.
But there will be like careers fairs, like we said, the outreach leads do that kind of online. But when COVID is done with, we'll have loads of stuff. But if you go on our website, our Met Police website, metpolice.co.uk.
I got you. You are my Google. I'm phoning you.
So we'll keep you posted with any events and stuff.
And we're recruiting. So
you're
come
recruiting.
And join us.
No, I'm definitely going to be pushing it out because I want my 10 black women.
We might get you, Dean. We might get you, you know what I mean? Dean is a special.
I'm not a woman. As pretty as I can. George, shut up. Okay. One thing I'm having here, we're Exclusive Visions is actually having a barbecue in August, and I want to invite the Met Police down as our special guests.
Oh, yes, please.
You guys are actually fun. So it'll be nice to have you, give you a little spotlight, talk about what you're doing as well. So that would be wonderful. And yes, you can contribute. Don't worry. video and let you know all about that as well.
Bottle of Sprite.
Yeah, like now I heard you guys got money now, so a bit more. So if there's any social media handles that you want us to promote for you on your behalf, definitely with the recruitment stage, please send that to us. We'll definitely be plugging that on your behalf. But I'm going to really sit down with you to hash out this 10 women to join the Black Force in the next 12 months. I think that'll be a great campaign and a great way to market things happening out there. So everybody who's listening, if you like what you heard today, please subscribe to the channel, press the notification bell, click the thumbs up, leave a message, and please donate to the Patreon page, because Stretch needs a new puppy. So we need to make this all happen. So you know how we do this. We like to say thank you so much for listening. It's been a great show. You guys have been absolutely amazing. You actually wasn't as boring as I thought you was going to be. That's what Trevor said. But you actually were fun. So
thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
No, it's a pleasure. It was actually we actually did more longer than I thought we was going to. Actually, George tried to kick us out early, but we did well. But no, I love it. So we know how we finish this off. Stay true, stay humble, and tune into the next episode. Thank you.